Salam. Um, um, my topic is how to fail with a startup. Didn't mean to sound very negative or anything like that, but I think it's very common for people to talk about, hey, this is how you succeed, this is how you succeed, you do these things. But I think it's also interesting if you look at the reverse. And what are some very fundamental things that are essential to doing successful. It doesn't mean this is not comprehensive at all. It doesn't mean that if you do these things you're going to be successful. But if you don't do these things, then, and the list is longer, definitely not comprehensive, but if you don't do these things, then it's going to be very, very hard to be successful. That's what I want to talk about. So number one is whenever you're building a company, it's it's a service, and it needs to offer a value to some segment of customers, some segment of people. And if you don't know who those people are and who it is that exactly you're giving value, then most likely you're just imagining in your mind, and you're not really grounded, and you're not really understanding what it is that you're doing. Which, as a result, what happens is you're sort of sitting somewhere, maybe sitting at a Starbucks or something, and then you're thinking all these ideas, and you think you have a vision, and all these grandiose things that look and sound great, and then mostly, most of us maybe come from an engineering background. The tempting thing to do is sort of go and build the whole thing, because those are the things and those are the tools that we have. But that's almost guaranteed. That will almost guarantee a failure, because you're literally shielding yourself from your actual users and people that you're doing this for, and you're going to be so much better off with just going and talking to people. And it doesn't sound great, and it's not a easy thing to do. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do, because it sounds sales-ish, and it sounds like you're trying to push something to other people. But it's just going to be so much better for you as someone who's building a service to talk to people, because that's where you really build a connection between your ideas and the things that and the people that you're doing it for. So I think it's very, very essential. If you don't do this, then sooner or later things are just not going to work out. That's number one. Number two, I would say not willing to change. And what that means is pretty much every single company out there who has been successful, they start off with one thing and then they end up doing something else. And it goes through the process of evolution, which is, and this is connected to the first point, which is talking to users. If you're not willing to evolve and mold into something that people into building a service or evolving into something that will offer value to people, then it's going to be very, very difficult to be successful. Like recent news, I guess, like Figma, I think they started with a grandiose vision of moving like product design to cloud, but the way they started is different from what they actually ended up building with their when they initially raised the seed round and everything, and this is probably true for many companies. So willing to change and evolve with your users and based on what you're here, I would say is critical. So if you don't do this, you're again almost guaranteed to fail. And number three, I would say like spending too much money and resources. I would say like money, time, and resources. And what that means is pretty much this may be the number one reason maybe companies fail, is you just literally run out of money. If you run out of money, then there's nothing you can do. Even if you have a good idea, even if you have, you know, customers who really love your product, if you just don't have the money, and you can try to fundraise the money, but there is a period of time where you need to be very cheap with how you're using resources, and spending too much money too soon is going to just deplete your resources. So what that means is, usually companies, if you're sort of struggling, or if you're having a hard time finding a product market fit, pouring in more money and more resources into the process is usually not going to fix the problems. And a lot of people think, you know, hey, if I hire this person, or if I do this additional thing, if I do that thing, you know, is just things will just work. But it's usually things that sort of counterintuitive to, and maybe many things are not very intuitive in startup world. It's actually not true. Usually, with adding, you know, spending more money, adding more resources, and hiring more people before you find
recording in progress.
Before you find product market fit, what happens is you add more distractions to your plate. So now you have to sort of solve this problem that you start a company with to find a product market fit, but at the same time you have to worry about these 5 other people that you just hired. This is counterintuitive, but hiring more people and spending more resources is not really going to help you, you know, figure out the core product solution that you're looking for and trying to solve. So being very cheap and just probably just like a handful of people, and just going ahead and being focused is just will take you a lot longer, a lot further. With that, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.